Hey there, thank you so much for tuning back in. This one is about cortisol, and if you have trouble sleeping, this is one that you will want to watch, and especially if you wake up at 3 a.m. That has all to do with cortisol, and in this video I will unpack it and you will get a clarity and a better understanding on this. So what you will get out of this video is a basic understanding of cortisol. You will get a better idea of when your body starts creating cortisol, and also you will understand the effect of cortisol to your body when it comes to sleep. Now, first off, this is cortisol. This is the molecule, and as far as molecules go, it's not a really big one, but I think it will just help you to get a bit of an understanding as like this is what we're dealing with, and most likely you haven't seen anything like this since you were in high school. Now, next up, what I want you to keep in mind is that cortisol, it's not necessarily bad, but it's part of the system. So I like to look at the body like a system, like you put things in and this happens, and that's how you should look at this as well. Now, it's produced by the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys, and you can see it in the picture here. So like the brown parts that look like beans, those are the kidneys, and the slightly yellow triangular parts on top, those are the adrenal glands. Now, cortisol is produced in certain scenarios, and first off, it's produced as a fight or flight response. So that's like back in the days when we were like more primitive, like when we were chased down by a bear. That's when you would get a lot of cortisol. Now, in our day and age, we're not being chased by bears so much anymore, but let's say like you come home and the lights are out, you need to pay for the electric bill, that would produce some cortisol. That's like kind of similar as a fight or flight response. Now also, and this is kind of like a gnarly one, because cortisol is what keeps you up and what keeps you to wake up at 3 a.m. But also, if you do not get enough sleep, your body keeps producing too much cortisol. And this is kind of like a detrimental cycle, because simply put, this means like if you sleep bad, you're gonna get more cortisol. You sleep worse, you create more cortisol, you sleep worse, and it's kind of a cycle. And overtraining or high intensity exercise, so like overtraining basically is like you trained and you didn't take enough time to rest for your next workout. And that's where you're gonna create cortisol. And also high intensity exercises, so like running or biking or like high intensity calisthenics, all that produces cortisol. Now also a poor diet with a lot of over processed foods, and most notably also like a lot of sugar. Like if you use too much sugar in your diet and a lot of those over-processed foods, your body gets addicted to that. So when the blood sugar drops, you will feel like a dip, and that causes cortisol. And it's kind of similar like to a drug addiction. Like if you've ever been in a period of your life when you were like drinking a little bit more than you should, or you used some other sort of drugs, you know that when it was time for a fix, it's like a high anxiety and a high stress situation. And that's kind of the same with a poor diet and too much sugar. It gives that same kind of stress and anxiety. Now, the next one, chronic inflammation, such as pain or autoimmune issues. This is a bit more serious, because for this you should definitely visit your physician to figure out what's the cause of all that. And then you can dive into Gemini or GPT to really dig deep and find out what it's all about. But that's also a big source of cortisol. Now, and of course, chronic stress, so that's like related to a job that gives you a lot of stress ongoing. It can be relationship issues and constant worrying, so rumination, like when you're in a depression. Now, what I want to take from this is that this is a system. Like, these are the inputs, and these inputs that cause cortisol. Now, as it relates to sleep, natural cortisol, it allows you to wake up in the morning, because cortisol, it builds up during the night, and in the morning is when it will reach its highest level. And then throughout the day, it's gonna build down again, and then by night, just before sleep, it will be at its lowest level. And that's what you see in this graph here. So at 6 a.m. this person is waking up, so that's when the cortisol is like really high. It builds down during the day, and then when it's time to go to bed, it's at a really low level. Now, the system, it really depends on that, because what causes the cortisol to go up, that can really mess with your sleep. So these are things like you're like wired but tired, like you had a really busy day, you're in bed, it's time to go to sleep, but you're wide awake still, and this is related to cortisol. Like if you had like a really busy day, like you wake up at 5 and you go until like 7 or 8 at night without taking a break, that's one of those instances, because you've been on for the whole day, you have cortisol levels that are high, and that causes you to be unable to fall asleep. Because the system here is that cortisol is like a signal, like this is also the fight or flight. So remember the bear that's chasing you, and it tells the body like, well, now is simply not the time to start sleeping. Now, and also high cortisol levels, it interferes with deep sleep, and that's really important that you do get it, because deep sleep is when the body repairs itself, and without that you will wake up in the morning after about 7 or 8 hours and you will still feel tired, and that's because of this, because your cortisol levels, they were too high. Now, and of course also this is also why you wake up at 3 a.m. because the cortisol levels, when they peak, at its highest point, that's when you wake up, and ideally it should be like your regular wake up time, so like 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning or whatever time it may be. But if you wake up way before that, that's a really strong indicator that your cortisol levels are way too high in the night time when it's time to go to sleep. Now, the good news, like I said in the beginning, like this is a system, and if it's a system, it means that you can change some inputs and then you get better outputs. So the good news, cortisol is a response to stress. So the system, it's very simple, like lower stress, lower cortisol, and that results in better sleep. Now, and that brings us to the next video. That will be the top 5 science-backed ways to lower your cortisol before bed. Now, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments if you can relate to the 3 a.m. wake up time or any of the other things that I mentioned. And also, let me know in the comments how I can make these videos more to your liking. Alright, so that's it. That's the video.